sprint up a flight of steps at the World's Fair Hotel, now the HH Holmes Hotel, and discover nothing. Doors would reveal solid brick. Glass would fill a bedroom. You tried to escape but were trapped. Even if you opened the door, you probably couldn't leave. You'd die horribly. According to the HH Holmes house narrative, H.H. Holmes, one of America's first serial killers, was known for his Chicago murder hotel and his murders. The Murder Castle or Murder Mansion was once thought to be a hotel and a ploy for Holmes to make money during the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. Later, police found something far more frightening. Holmes boasted of killing 27 people in his home of horrors. However, estimates range from 9 to 200. Some historians deny the H.H. Holmes mansion was a murder castle in recent years. Experts believe Holmes was a serial killer, but his constructed gas chambers and trapdoors may have been the product of yellow journalism. Only the man knew the H.H. Holmes Hotel's secrets and how many people perished there. H.H. Holmes arrived in Chicago in 1886 after several lives. After scandals, Herman Webster Midget changed his name. In college, he disfigured cadavers to scam life insurance companies. He was last spotted with a missing New York youngster. When a Philadelphia pharmacy customer died after taking his medicines. After these episodes, Mudgett left town and became Henry Howard Holmes. Holmes used his medical skills and charm to land a job at a 63rd Street drugstore shortly after arriving in Chicago. Holmes was charming, smart, and trendy. He was so nice that he married 3 unwitting women at once. He bought an empty site across from his business in 1887 and started erecting a 3-story building for residences and shops. The unsightly, block-long building has over 100 rooms. Chicago was rising, and new construction was happening across the Midwest. After all, Chicago was well located on Lake Michigan as a center for the vast railroad networks that crisscrossed the nation, all stretching like spokes from the city. Residents had no idea a horror home would soon appear there. H.H. Holmes planned to rent out an entire block of storefronts on the first floor of his home to the city's many new enterprises. New Chicagoans seeking success would live on the 3rd story. Some naive residents may have become Holmes' victims. The victims saw the 2nd floor's asphyxiation chambers, mazes, and secret stairs. The unluckiest victims reached the basement, which housed the H.H. Holmes house's intricate halls. Holmes supposedly switched builders and architects regularly during the building's construction, so no one realized the horrible final objective of all the weird components. 1892 saw the house's completion. By 1894, Holmes was in prison as police explored its convoluted corridors. Authorities initially found it confusing. False partitions and movable walls existed. Rooms had 5 or no doors. Iron plate-lined walls stifled sound in hidden, airless caverns under floorboards. Holmes' bathroom trapdoor revealed a staircase to a windowless cubicle. The cubicle had a big chute to the basement. It wasn't dirty laundry. Gas fixtures adorned one room. Holmes would seal his victims in, flip a switch in an adjacent room, and wait for the tragedy. Another chute existed nearby. An elaborate alarm system connected all doors and some steps. Holmes' bedroom buzzed when someone entered the hall or descended. These descriptions have been questioned by historians, especially in recent years, and some of the designs may have been exaggerated or fabricated by the newspapers of the time. The police found a mound of bones that revealed the unusual floor plan's true purpose. Some bones were human, but most were animal. They were little enough to belong to a 6 or 7-year-old child. A authorities discovered the building's horrors in the cellar. A woman's garments were beside a bloody surgery table. Another surgical surface, a crematory, medical tools, a strange torture device, and shelves of dissolving acids were close. Holmes' medical skills and interest in corpses remained after graduation. After sending his victims down the chutes, he reportedly dissected, cleaned, and sold their organs or skeletons to medical institutes or the underground market. The mansion wasn't appealing, so it's unlikely any victims were pulled in. The owner's flattery and apparent wealth enticed them to come. Sometimes they were his employees. Holmes employed about 150 female stenographers in his 2 years in the castle. Several of them were his mistresses. Holmes sometimes photographed his favorites. In the huge city, they trusted this gentleman. Chicago's growing railway hub brought new visitors to Holmes' house. Despite the well-connected ladies who disappeared under his employment, murder-accused did not kill Holmes. In major cities, people come and leave without notice. Before improved technology, they were hard to find. So the disappearance of Holmes' young women could have been explained as the moving on or returning home. Holmes was arrested in Boston on November 17, 1894, for stealing and financial mismanagement. H.H. Holmes was imprisoned after decades of illegal activities that required a book to comprehend. While in jail, he was linked to at least one murder, overshadowing his financial allegations. Holmes was charged with 9 murders. While in prison, he confessed to at least 27 murders but gave 3 different counts. The residence was outfitted for Holmes to disintegrate body parts in acid baths or burn them in a human-sized burner, making it impossible to verify the quantity of victims. Investigators uncovered a little gold chain from a woman's shoe in ashes. Holmes would later say, "I was born with the devil. I was a killer, no more than the poet can help the impulse to sing." In Eric Larson's book The Devil in the White City, H.H. Holmes began his murder spree when an unprecedented number of unaccompanied strangers were flooding Chicago's streets looking for temporary housing. Millions of people attended the famous 1893 Chicago World's Fair. Some papers estimated Holmes' victims in the hundreds, citing the thousands that went missing during the World's Fair. One newspaper reported that Holmes represented himself at his trial with amazing acquaintance with the law and grace. He was unanimously sentenced to death by hanging despite his charm. Holmes requested that his corpse be cement encased in his coffin. Before his 1896 death, H.H. Holmes suggested he was becoming the devil. He said his visage was turning demonic. Execution was excruciating. His neck did not shatter when the floor collapsed under him. He died 20 minutes after twitching. The H.H. Holmes Hotel case's participants suffered peculiar fates. A Chicago police officer shot the individual who alerted police to H.H. Holmes' illicit activities. Holmes' prison warden died. The famous case's district attorney's office burned. In 1914, former castle caretaker Patrick Quinlan committed suicide. He wrote, "I could not sleep. The murder castle is gone." The mansion burned down in 1895, possibly initiated by 2 men who entered the structure at night. 1938 destroyed the surviving structure. The H.H. Holmes residence now houses a modest post office.